we have a little Q&A panel this morning. I feel a bit strange sitting here. Did we do it on the stage last year? I couldn't remember. We did? Yes, that makes more sense. Let me pull up my note. Oh, I spoke into my phone. Let me pull up my notes. Well, before we start, we just want to take a minute to just acknowledge this day can be a mixed bag, right? So we have people in this room who may have lost their mums. We have people in this room who maybe never got to become a mum. People in this room who have strained relationships with their mum. Some who have lost their children. Some who have strained relationship with their children. And so this day holds a lot of mixed emotions. And so we want you to know that it's okay if this is a hard day in some ways, if it holds some grief in certain areas, and to just encourage you that that's not too much for God, that it's not too big, that it's not too messy, that He sees us in all of our unique places and heart postures and experiences and journeys, and He's with us in all of it. And while this day is very much deserving of celebration, there's also space for those other emotions. And so we just want to make mention of that this morning so that you know that it's okay to be here fully as you are, in all the different ways in which you're feeling. And for some, it may just only hold joy, but we just want to take a minute to acknowledge that that's not the case for everyone. And so we love you, and we're praying for you. We're praying that this would be a day where if there are many emotions, that the Lord would be so close, that He really is the great comforter, that He's gentle, that He's present with us in our times of need. And so just know that today, with wherever your heart is at, that the Lord is close, that He's present with you and with your emotions, and that He wants to meet you in those places. So just be encouraged, and we love you. We're here to just honor and celebrate the incredible women in this church. Whether you are a physical mom or a spiritual mom, you are a gift to our congregation, to our community, and we so value you all, and we need you all. And I'm very excited to do some little Q&As with a few of our moms this morning, because I love to just hear the hearts of different women and what their life experience has been like, and how God has showed up for them, and how He's met them in this journey of motherhood. And what I love about what we're going to hear is that we only have the capacity to parent well because of Jesus, because of the Father, right? Like, we are created in His image, and everything that we have access to comes from His nature. So as moms are women of nurture and compassion and tenderness and comfort, we can be that, and we can show up in that way because we're made in the image of the Father. And so we learn how to nurture because of His nurture in us. And so as we listen to the ladies share and to kind of the answers that they give, I want you to listen kind of with that lens of, how does this reveal to me who the Father is? How does this reveal to me an attribute of His heart and His character and His nature that I actually have access to? Because He's the greatest mother. Like, He has the mother heart. He has the nurturing heart in Him being our Father God. And so I just want you to look through that lens this morning as well. As much as seeing these incredible women for who they are and what they bring, I want you to always look through who that points us to in the Lord. So, firstly, drum roll. I would like to invite to the stage Miss Frances Greenwood. Come on. This is my beautiful fellow red-headed Brit. I have a confession. I am extremely not covetous or jealous, and in the most godly way ever. Frances got the cutest little curly-haired red-headed child, and I thought, God, hello, I have curly red hair. Where were my curly red-headed children? So I just live vicariously. Hello, Millie. Don't get me wrong, I love my children with all their different colors of hair and different types of hair, but I just come on, look at her. You're just so scrumptious. Aren't you, Millie? Anyway, hi, Francis. Firstly, I got to pull up my questions because they're in a different place. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself? So, where are you from? Yeah. How long have you been a mom? How many kids do you have? Give us a little intro.
An intro?
Yeah.
I've got hair in my mouth. Hello? Do I need to turn on? Oh, me on? Hi, I'm Francis or Frankie, depending on when in life you met me. Call me either. I'm from the UK, myself and Matt from the UK, but I came over in 2014 to do the School of Ministry and basically stayed. So we have 3 little Canadians. I've been a mom for 6 years, so my oldest daughter, Riley, she is 6. So I'm a pretty new mom, I feel. I still feel like that was one of my thoughts in preparing for today. I was like, I actually feel really new. So I'm just a 6-year-old mummy.
Love it.
And and my husband is Matt, if any of you haven't met him.
Yay, and these guys are amazing. They actually met through the School of Ministry, the same way as myself and Kirsten. We're very blessed in this church. We have a lot of SOM grads, so it's a great place to meet a spouse for any of you young people thinking about that. But yeah, we're so blessed to have you guys. We're very thankful that you're part of our church family, and we love you guys. So, question number, did you do them in a specific order? Are you good?
I can bounce around.
All right. My first question for you is, what is one thing that the Lord has taught you or grown you in this journey of motherhood?
50 million things, for sure. Well, I think I narrowed it down to, and maybe it's because it's just where I feel is the season we're in right now with very little children. So I've got a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And it probably sounds a bit cliche, but patience. And I mean that in so many ways. Absolutely patience with my littles. They are so powerful, beautiful, mighty, but they are tiny and learning the world. And that comes with, I forget how little they are, and that you literally have to explain that this is the sky and this is the earth to them. Like, they have no concept of that. And it's one of those beauties with baby number 1. But then when you get to baby number 2 and number 3, you kind of forget that because you're still on, your brain is catching up with the first one. And so to keep bringing myself back to where they're at, and in those moments where they're finding something difficult because they just don't have understanding of it, calming myself. So my biggest patience is actually not necessarily with them, but it's with me. And finding patience with myself in lowering my standard to where the sort of mom I thought I would be, or the standard of where I hold myself to. And I think in my nature, I hold myself to a very high standard. And somewhere along the road, I'd built this picture of who I thought I would be, or how I thought I'd be, or in a stressful moment, how I thought I'd respond. And it doesn't always look like that. And so there's definitely been some deep cry moments of having to let all that go. And so I think, yes, patience with my little ones in meeting them where they're at, but also patience for myself in lowering my standard. And that comes with a whole ton of humility as well. So lots of humble pie eating in the Greenwood household.
I can absolutely relate. I think every parent can relate. We so desire to give our children everything. But the reality is we're not. We're imperfect humans. And especially in this day and age, there's experts everywhere, apparently. And there's many different styles of parenting and many different ways in which you're supposed to be the absolute best, or you're going to permanently damage your children and laying aside of all of that. But it's funny because that's an external pressure, but we also do have internal pressures of we want to be everything, and that's a good, not everything, but we want to, to do it well and show up at our best. And that's a good idea to have, but sometimes it's too much pressure on ourselves, right? So I love that. Definitely growing in that too, right there with you. Is there a specific Bible verse or story that has helped you in parenting, whether it be wisdom, how to parent, something you need to feel encouraged or uplifted in your role as a mum?
Yeah, thinking about this one, again, changes week to week, month to month, year to year. The Bible verse that just plays in my head, and it's part of the song that we'll all know well, but the Bible verse is, don't lean on your own understanding. Because truly, like, even as surface level as when, again, we're in the season of very little sleep. Can you tell? No, and it just is one of those things where you can do all the things that the book tells you to do. You can, okay, it's bedtime, so we're going to have a bath, and we're going to calm our bodies, and then we're going to read a book, and then we're going to jump in our sleep sacks and our pajamas, and then I'm going to rock you, and I'm going to sing you a song, and then I'm going to place you down. And then the next morning you're like, oh, they slept. We nailed it. We did it. It must have been because I rocked them 63 times, and I put them down on the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side, and don't change anything. Okay, so don't change anything. Next night you do the exact same routine. They don't sleep at all. And that's the surface level of the understanding of parenting. And then when it just comes to the depths of it, and again, pre-children, it's just a joy of, it's one of those bounces of like, it's, if anyone's on Instagram or TikTok, I'm sure you've come across this, but I'm living the life I prayed for. I'm living the life I prayed for. And it is so emotional when I stop to think about that. But I say it 1,000 times. I do not know how anyone does it without God. I don't have a grid of how anyone can do it without God. And that's from me, who only found Jesus later on, like in my 20s. I don't understand how you can do it. And so I absolutely cannot lean on my own understanding because I have such little of it. And so I'm constantly grasping. And that comes from being in my Bible, or that comes from worship music, or that comes from speaking to other Christians who are doing life. And that, for me personally, is the biggest portion, is looking at those in front of me and just asking the really big and scary and humble questions, and those people also being humble enough to say it wasn't easy and to talk about the tough stuff. So yeah.
So good, love it. And I love that it's another layer to your journey is you're learning how to parent with Christ. Like that's, you didn't experience that in your upbringing. So that's a whole new added element for you. And like, what does it look like to parent God-centered, which is so cool as well, but a whole other dynamic, but you're smashing it. Okay, next question. I love it. What have you learned? This is oh no, there's two more. What have you learned about the nature of God in becoming a mom?
Yeah. I realized all my theme is very like, oh, but maybe not. I don't know.
No.
But the nature of God, the one thing I really have learned is His forgiveness of us. And the way I've learned that, or like forgiveness in general, and I feel like it can be a really like, it can feel like quite a basic topic, but the depth of it is actually blowing me away. And since I've had the littles, children are so forgiving, little kids. And it actually blows me away. Like I could have had a really tough day where I've, been pretty stern, like mummy's had to use her stern voice today kind of conversation. And I'm one of my tools that I'm really trying to bring into our family culture is that we're not afraid to revisit, and we're not afraid to talk about it, and kind of we're not putting anything under the carpet. And so, I'll be with my two oldest ones, so my 6-year-old and my 3-year-old, and we'll be in the car driving, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to talk about this and be like, girls, I'm so sorry. Like, and again, keeping it appropriate for their age group, but saying, like X, Y, and Z, I'm so sorry. And they're just like staring at me and they're like, Mum, what are we having for dinner? Or like, Mum, do you want to play with me? And it's their beautiful way of just like, it's an instant forgiveness. And I know as they get bigger, it will change and mold again. And hopefully we're laying the foundations now. But through seeing how quickly they can run. Oh, and Tegan, my middle, like, she's my fiery middle. She's my mirror. Let's just put it that way. She reminds me so much of me. And we can have a moment of heat or whatever that looks like in our 3-year-old moment. And immediately her face, and she just says, I just want a hug. And she just runs into my arms and we will hug for, I call it the Disney hug. I've never been to Disney, but I've heard that the Disney princesses aren't allowed to let go until the kids do. And that's what we do. We just hold and hold. And that is, again, brought me to tears many times where I think of, like, that's what God does to us. Like, we do something really dumb, we do something really stupid, or we do something he's asked us not to do 1,000 times. And we're just like, either we say it or he says it. Either we see his arms open for us, or with our head down, we're like, I just want a hug. And he takes us in. So that's the nature.
So beautiful. I love that. Isn't that good? That's what we all need, right? We all need that. And I love that you're establishing that in your family culture. I think that that's something that we found really important, is the reality is we're going to mess up, and being okay with going low and saying, that wasn't great. I'm so sorry. I should not have spoken to you that way. Like, please forgive me. Because actually, we also need to teach our children what it looks like to apologize well, to own what they've done, and to extend forgiveness. And so in us being able to be humble and acknowledge our shortcomings, we're actually equipping them with the tools to do the same. And so I love that you're doing that. It's important. Last question, if you could give mums one piece of advice or encouragement, what would it be?
My current thought is that I've had seasons of life in my adulthood where I have got to spend my entire day with God, all day, journaling, worshipping, soaking, all of it. And it has been so oozy and so good and so beautiful. And I've come out the other end being like, oh, I feel like $1,000,000. This is amazing. Like, And I am currently in a season where I will take anything I can get. And that feels really tough sometimes, because that is our fuel. And like, that is my gas station plug-in of life. And I can feel when I haven't had my time. But I'm letting go of that perfectionism of trying to make it what it was, or like trying to make it look like it did. And you'll see me in worship on the ground covered with children and like not being able to quite see the lyrics. So like also just soaking. You know what, today we're just gonna do it that way around instead. And in the mornings, sometimes it looks like, if I'm feeling weak, it looks like, hey Teags, we're gonna have some God time. And she watches a Minnow episode. For anyone who doesn't know, it's fantastic God kid TV show. And I open my Bible for however long it needs, until we feel recharged, and then we go again. So my encouragement is, take what you get, like take what you can. God is literally here right now. He sees it, he gets it. And that season will change. I know and believe it. And yeah, and I'm in the trenches of beauty and joy and splendor of anyone who is in that under 6 stage. Yeah, with its, it is so beautiful. It is so joyful. There is so much laughter, and there is so much, like we are in God's garden right now, and his flowers are blooming. But yeah, sometimes like a hurricane blows through and it feels mental. But we replant the seeds and we go again. And so yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. That was a joy. We're blessed to hear your heart. Thanks. Anytime. All right. Round of applause. Okay. Next, we have, ready? The lovely Susan Krukamp. Woo, woo, woo! I'm so excited. I'm like loving hearing from the different moms. I can't wait. So good. Welcome, Susan. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? It is actually really comfy. It's like got a good squish. Oh, yes, your mic. Hold on. Is it on? I think it is. Try that.
Testing.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tini and I are originally from South Africa. Yeah. We came here 21 years ago. Never left. Yes. We've got two kids, Abigail and Louise. We became parents at a later stage in life than we probably wanted. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Abigail is 14 and Louise 9, going on 19. So yes.
Amazing. That's right. So we had a Brit, a South African. We'll round it off with a Canadian. Okay. Oh, I just popped these. Where did my questions go? There they are. I popped them away. All right. First question for you. I'm not doing different questions. I'm doing the same questions for all the ladies, okay? What is one thing the Lord has taught you or grown you in this journey of motherhood?
Wow. Okay, so I'm one of 5, so we thought kind of having kids would be quick, easy. When we started deciding we were having kids, and after several miscarriages, we got Abigail, which is special needs kid, and I'm kind of like, what is this? It's kind of going back to God, and God gave us promises that our children would be born in Canada, not just child. We put that request before God, and there were actually a few people in church that and they didn't know about that at that time, praying over us and kind of saying, the one thing that you're waiting for God's promises is coming. And that was, so we went to fertility clinics. We were at the second fertility clinic, and at that point in time, they said, oh, you're pregnant. So it is kind of a journey of wanting to have kids and trying to get us there. But yes, the journey of motherhood on special needs kids is that where you have that elusive book that God is having on raising that child, is kind of having an elusive encyclopedia of raising a special needs child. But as Francis mentioned, I'm like, you cannot do it without God. Mm-hmm. And that is kind of step by step. It's you just cannot do it without God. Yes. Yeah.
That's so good. And I want to honor you and Otini. You guys have gone above and beyond, and we see the absolute love and sacrifice and care that you pour into Abigail every day. And so I want to honor you guys for that, because it is a huge outpouring of all of your time and your emotion and your energy, and you've been so faithful to love her as the Lord has trusted her into your care. And so you guys are doing an amazing job, yeah. And with Louise too, she's sweet. Is there a specific Bible verse or story that has helped you in parenting, whether it be wisdom on how to parent or something that you just needed to feel encouraged in your role as a mom?
I think is the one and as Francis mentioned, I'm like, you're in seasons, and your season can be a month, your season can be years, but it does change over time. And as Francis also said, you don't have enough time to do anything, but you can focus on some things. So yes, I think the Hebrews 10 verse 23 is, let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And that is be faithful to the things that God has given to you, and focus on that.
That's so good.
So yes, yeah.
It's like when we keep our eyes fixed on on. He's gonna be faithful to me as in every stage and season and phase that we're in, so long as we keep our eyes fixed. That's so good. Third question, what have you learned about the nature of God in becoming a mum?
The nature of God. How I how I sometimes see kind of motherhood and just being a person is kind of we're in the eye of the storm. So everything is nice and quiet, everything works, everything is just right. And if you step your foot outside of that, you will get everything you didn't want to. So it's kind of moving with God in that eye of the storm, wherever he takes you, not where we want to go. Because I'm like, as Francis mentioned again, it's kind of like, oh, I want to be this perfect mom, having kind of my kids in this clothes, or having to go to this school, or having this thing. I'm like, no, it's not about that. It's kind of moving with God into the direction that he wants to take you. And then the experience that you'll have is much more than you ever thought you would have. So yeah.
Amazing. It's the greatest disciples we're ever going to make are our own children. And I think it's the cry of every parent to want to pour into our children and raise them up well. And it's weighty. It really is. Fourth question and last question. If you could give mums one piece of advice or encouragement, what would that be?
Don't sweat the small stuff. Yes, I have done laundry on Sunday evenings, Monday mornings, 12 o'clock at night. I'm kind of, you get to it when you get to it. It's kind of, yes. And God will give you sufficient wisdom and energy for each child. I think that is kind of it's a thing. I'm like, especially with 2 different types of kids that we have. And you learn a lot from your kids. Be in the moment with them. It is difficult. It's kind of, you have so many things, you have a list of things to work down on a Saturday or whatever, but kind of sitting with them and kind of, they actually have so much wisdom, and you actually enjoy life through them. It is, and do it when you're younger. I know my mom and dad, when they had their grandkids, they're kind of, oh, I'm like, this is so amazing. I'm like, no, yes, I know, because you didn't do it with us. So it's really just kind of, yes, round 2. So yeah, sit with your kids, make time. Yeah.
Question. How many times have you rewashed the same load of laundry? What's your max?
My max, 3 times.
Yeah. If you know, you know. Just left in the machine.
Yes.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing with us. That was a blessing to hear your heart and your journey. Amazing. And last but not least, I would love to call up Mrs. Vi Royds. Drum roll! Yay. This is our last lovely mum and grandma that will be sharing with us today. So we've got the young mom, we've got the middle mom, and we've got the grandma. So, well, mom as well, but we get a little insight into all the different areas. So welcome. Thank you for being willing to share with me and us this morning. We're very blessed to hear from you. And first of all, why don't you give us a little intro, let us know kind of who you are, where you're from, how many kids and grandkids you have when you became a mom. Oh, your mic. We all forget. Sorry. I'm not being a very good host.
I was born in Montreal, and I moved here to Ontario sometime in my 20s and started to have a family. And my oldest daughter is going to turn 52 this year. Wow. And the younger one is going to turn 48. That's amazing, it confounds me, really. That just confounds me. And then when I think of my age, I get confounded again.
I can imagine. My eldest is about to turn 14. And I'm like, no, I still feel like I'm 25. How? Yeah. This doesn't make sense.
I know.
So I can imagine. And grandchildren.
And grandchildren. We have 4 grandchildren. And 2 are 22 years old and 2 are 18 years old. both girls, although they are 4 years apart, they had children at the same time. That's why their children are the same age.
Aww.
And it just, how could they figure that out? One lives on the West Coast and one lives here in Ontario. And I still can't figure that out, but that's the way it is.
That's so cool. I love that. All right, so question number 1. What is one thing that the Lord has taught you or grown you in this journey of motherhood?
I had a lot to look back at. I think more than anything, God has taught me to love. Love in ways that I never thought I could love until I had children. And he pulled it out of me, and he put it into me, and he pulled it out of me, and he put it into me. And it was just that process of seeing with new eyes. You know, becoming a mom is like becoming born again. You see with new eyes and a new heart. And you learn how to care for others like you never did. So God has brought the second commandment alive in my heart through having children.
I have never thought of it like that before, but it really is. It's a whole new discovery and learning of like what does it look like. No other relationship requires that quite that much sacrificial laying down.
Yeah.
And so good. Number 2, is there a specific Bible verse or story that has helped you in parenting, whether it be wisdom on how to parent or just something you needed to feel encouraged in that season?
I think a story is better than any words. When they were young, I learned a lot of things through my children when they were young. And one day I had a bee in my bonnet that I was going to learn everything about faith. I was going to buy every book. I was going to research this, that, blah, blah, blah. And one day, while I was planning to do this, I walked in to check our 5-year-old. And she just happened to be watching a little Christian program on TV at the time, and she looked up at me, and she said, "You know what, Mom? Jesus is faith." And all the cobwebs in my head, all the bees in my bonnet went flying out the window. And she just brought me back to reality. And it was, Jesus was the point of the matter, and she just got to me. And God spoke to me through her. I knew he was speaking to me through her. And it was so easy. It was so easy.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
The main thing.
Sometimes we can do that, right? We want to grasp
Tangent.
all this other stuff. And kids are so great at that. Just saying something out of nowhere that's just like, you know what, you're so right. Like out of the mouths of babes, isn't that
That's
saying?
right. That's right.
I love that. What have you learned about the nature of God and becoming a mum?
Whoa, I thought there was one in the middle. Oh, well, I know. I wanted to tell another story if I could.
Yes, go for it.
Sorry.
Please do. No, this is your moment. Talk away.
Oh, wow. We could be here forever. It's been a long time. Yeah, okay. Another story I wanted to share was a time when I really got worried and concerned. These were during the teenage years, and I really thought one was going off the tracks. And I was a wreck. And God sent someone to me whom I didn't know very well, and she just came up to me and she said, "I don't know what it is you're going through, but God told me to tell you to watch and see what he was going to do." And I pondered that word for a long, long time. And then I got past the point of pondering, and it said, I remembered the words watch. So I began to watch. I began to watch to see what God was going to do. And I got my eyes off the problem and onto what God was going to do. And that propelled me through that difficult time. And it's just, but I did that for 3 years. I watched and I prayed and I watched and I prayed. But I was not looking at the problem. I was looking out to see what God was going to do. And we had some breakthroughs in that time. But I knew we hadn't broken through completely. And so I kept watching. And so one day we found ourselves in a little vineyard church on Airport Road. And one day this particular daughter decided to try the youth group out. So we said, sure, go see what it's like. And then a man named Randy Clark came to speak to that group. And that youth group was changed that day. And they were never the same again. They were always praying. They were praying for each other. They were just filled over and over again with joy. And they started to bring their friends from their high school. And I knew that was the moment that God had me waiting for. I didn't know what it was coming, but when it came, I said, that's the moment I've been waiting for. So that was very, very precious. Very precious. And then we had 4 grandkids. We had 5 grandkids. And that was the time where we were actually moved away from our kids, and we had to leave them. We had to learn to be parents on the phone, or we had to drive 5 hours to see one of them, or we had to get on a plane and cross country. And that was a brand new experience. That was learning to let go, and sort of an identity crisis came on us because we had Grand Central Station at our house, and all of a sudden it was just 2 of us. Everything was going on. So that was a great big change. But, you know, the phone calls came and we kept going. We had to do 2 long-distance marriages away from, because we lived in the States. We were moved to the States. So we came back and we did 2 marriages here. And then we had 4 grandchildren, so 4 more trips. And it was just a whole new ballpark for us. And it was just an incredible time. And we ran into a moment where we had a grandchild who got very, very sick. And so more plane rides. And it was a time when I couldn't even pray. I was just in way over my head. And my one prayer when I entered this very difficult time was, Lord, I can't pray. I don't have it in me. I'm too weak. And I said, would you please raise up intercessors to pray for our family? Wow. And so on the plane, in a new environment, learning all kinds of new things, learning to be a mom again instead of a grandma. Because grandma was fun time. I mean, the good times rolled when we used to visit the grandkids. But this time it was a little different. And often when we would have supper during this difficult time, my son-in-law would say, oh, did you hear there was a Mennonite church around the corner praying for us? Or he'd say, oh, did you hear so-and-so was praying for us? And I knew our family in Cleveland was praying for us. And I just would hear this about every 3 or 4 days, and I knew that God was taking care of us. Even though couldn't pray, just had to put one foot in front of the other, he was taking care of us, and I had sort of a calm and a steadiness to get through this situation.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we've been cared for through the years.
I love that. And that's, I think, that's so valuable, because that's like the beautiful power of community and having a church family. I mean, I have been on the receiving end of that countless times, just having people carrying us in prayer, and that just nothing else in that moment would be enough. Like, just someone saying we're praying feels like they might as well have given me $10 million. Like that was all, that's all we needed to know that we were covered and we were sustained. And you talking about like learning to step back into being a mom again, to be present for your daughter in her time of need. I remember after my brain surgery, my mom and dad, obviously they came to stay. They got on the first flight out, and my mom was helping me wash my hair because I had all these staples in my head. She was helping me wash my hair, and I remember just thinking, it was like, felt like such a vulnerable moment. And I thought, I only want my mom. Like, I'm 26 years old. I've got 3 kids of my own, and I just needed my mom to be there washing my, like, it's funny. It's just funny how we have those moments, and you never you don't stop being that, even when your new role is now a grandma, you're still a mom, and your kids still need you. And but then also at the end of that, even as a mom and as a grandma, when you had nothing in your own strength to feel like you could give, it was the Lord parenting you and showing up for you in your moment of, I don't have any strength. I need you to be the parent.
Yeah.
And that is what an amazing picture, because ultimately, yes, he enables us to show up, and he equips us with what we need, but there are times when only he has what we need, no one else. And I love that was the case for you in sending. He's like, don't worry, I've got you. People are going to be praying. I see you in this place, and I hear your heart's cry, and I've got it. So I love that. That's amazing. Just going to go back to my notes to see did you have any other stories before because I'm,
Well, I could go on all day. But
well,
I'll
no,
stop
we have
there.
time. Are you sure?
Yes.
Any other thoughts?
Any
Okay.
other thoughts? No.
All right. And how did it end up going with your grandchild?
Well, we had to say goodbye to our grandchild,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
and it was a difficult time, but
Mhm.
it was worth it all. All what we went through, it was just worth it all.
And God was very present, I'm sure,
Yes.
in all of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was a bit of a dancer, and she was 3 when she passed away, and I have this beautiful picture in my head that she's dancing her heart out in heaven, because that's what she was made to do.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing. What have you learned? No, I asked that. What have you learned about the nature of God in becoming a mom? Well, we went back to stories, didn't we? So I will ask that one, because I don't know if did we cover that?
The nature of God.
The
we haven't
nature of
covered.
God. So what have you learned about the nature of God in becoming a mom?
I've learned that God cares more for my children than I do. And he cares more for me than I ever realized he did when I looked back at all these pictures and things we've come through. So I have a strong God who's upheld me through many, many, many things.
Yeah, that's amazing. He's faithful and he's present. If you could give moms one piece of advice or encouragement, what would that be?
I think it would be to look and see what God is going to do in your child's life. Just watch. Just watch. And he will surprise you. He'll never let you down. He'll never disappoint you. And we've been through a lot, and he's never disappointed us. He's always been the rock under our feet, always.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Vi. That was wonderful. I feel honored to have got a glimpse into the hearts and lives of these 3 moms. Thank you all so much for sharing this morning. I think I'm sat here kind of just, what's the word? Maybe awe. I don't know. Is that probably? I'm just like a bit overwhelmed. I feel emotional. And I'm just realizing like the richness of the people in this room and the stories that we carry and the lives that we've lived and the things that we've experienced. And we actually have so much to learn from one another and to grow from one another. And imagine just going for coffee with Vi. Like I could have just go for coffee and listen to your endless stories all day. And and just the understanding of people with familiar experiences. I didn't know that you'd lost a grandchild. My sister's son passed away, and that was a big experience for our family to go through, and just experiencing God show up for us in the midst of that loss and that grief, and hearing your perspective as a grandma, and making me just think of my own mom and what that was like for her in the midst of COVID, and none of us could be there, and it was just a whole journey. But to have the body like of believers present and praying and holding your arms up when you have no strength, just phenomenal. So thank you for sharing. I feel emotional, but it makes me realize like I want to continue to hear your stories, but we have access to each other, and I would encourage you to know that there are people in this room who can pour into your heart and into your life, who have experiences with the Lord where he showed up for them and he met them, and it is the power of testimony that brings us through. It's the power of testimony that invites us into knowing, if this is how the Lord showed up for Vi, this is the same Jesus that I have access to. And so her story can be my story, because if he did it for her, he can do it for me. And so I want to encourage you to know that there is a wealth of experience and testimony in this room. And I would just encourage you to pull from that and to get to know each other more and to ask more of each other's stories. And I don't even really know where to go from here. Yeah, please do.
Yeah, thank you. I want to say thank you so much to Vi and Francis and Susan for sharing today. Just want to share super quickly. We're gonna end in a moment, but yeah, I'm so encouraged. I'm so encouraged to hear from you three and just to get to know you a little bit more, to hear more of your story. So thank you for preparing. Thanks for being vulnerable, and thanks for sharing today. That was really. How many of you got to know these three a bit more? Yeah, and just so beautiful, and hopefully an invitation, for anyone else who connected with their testimony, to share your testimony as well, with them and with others as well, and just to have a place to connect. I do want to say this is that, none of us are experts, are we? Just because we have a nice couch and Jill's wearing a nice dress, we'll be the first to say we don't know what we're doing. Hey? We don't know what we're doing. But the one thing that we have in common, which we all, which got shared, was that, we want to put the Lord first, and to pull on the Lord, and to see his faithfulness, and to see his goodness in our lives, and our kids' lives, and our grandkids' lives. And I just love what you said about looking back and seeing how much God loves your kids, and seeing how much God loved you through it all, through the process, how he showed up in his faithfulness. And I just love that. That's so beautiful. I do want to say as well, for everyone in here, we're all on different journeys, aren't we? And just to say, that's a beautiful thing, because God he's with us. He's meeting us in the midst of that. I love these times of hearing from people from the community. If you're like, why didn't I get asked to share something this morning? We love you too. We love you too, and your story is valuable, and we'd love to hear from everyone. And sometimes when we do this, we just say, God, would you just highlight, or just who's got something to share to the body, that's going to encourage and impart. And so would you just highlight some people to share? And so I just want you to say, we're not picking favorites here. You're all our favorites. We love you all, really, and we want to hear we want to hear from everyone in regards to just your journey with the Lord, and how the Lord's been faithful to you and to your family, because it's so different, and it's so beautiful, and it's so valuable. And just different walks of life, different countries that we grew up in, different cultures. I love that just the variety. Just these guys said, Francis from England saying that I met the Lord in my 20s, and what that was like. And Susan come from South Africa, and Vi, coming here from Canada, but being in Montreal, and just this whole journey. I love it. I love hearing there's such a richness. There's such a richness, that God's brought in us, and having us and bringing us together, and He's brought us together for a reason, hasn't He? Yeah, and I'm so thankful for this community, and I'm thankful for the other communities in the area. I'm thankful for the other churches and communities, and how the Lord brings us together, just to encourage us, and to bring us to a place of strength. And so I love this. Just one last thing for you. I know I've shared this before, but a friend of mine, his mom, she would hear a testimony. She would hear a testimony, and she would say, I have the same father you're talking about. I am the daughter of the same father, so I'll take that too. I'll take that for me. And so I just want to encourage you that just even today, you know, I don't know if there, if you weren't touched by at least one thing this morning from these three ladies' testimonies, I would love to pray for your heart to come alive, because there was so many amazing things, whether you're a woman or a man or a child, just whatever. And so why am I saying that? I forget why I was going to say that.
I'll hop on there because
Yeah.
and my opening comment was to remember to listen to their answers, their stories, with the lens of like, what does this reveal to me about God? And so in wrapping up this morning, just to point out that we heard about his faithfulness, we heard about his patience, we heard about his kindness, we heard about his forgiveness, and we heard about him being present. And so as you're hearing these stories, knowing that that's your father, that whether you're a parent or not, whether you're a mom or not, that he shows up for you in patience and faithfulness and kindness and giving you the strength in any way that you need it. And just, he's the best dad. Yeah. He's the best dad. Yes. And when we think of what it looks like to be a parent and how much greater he is at it, and how much more he has for us in his relationship with us, I just want to encourage you to press in more to that this morning, more into his kindness and his nurture and just his heart for you as a father. Yeah.
That's so good. Thanks, babe. And you brought me back on track. You reminded me real quick. I heard somebody say once, they said, you know who are the best fathers? You know who are the best fathers? The best sons. You know who are the best mothers? The best daughters. And I just love that. And like, I love that. And the reason I'm saying that is the ones who, you know, we need to allow ourselves to be loved, don't we? We need to allow ourselves to be, and our posture towards the Lord is that we're all sons and daughters. And we have to remember to have that heart posture towards him, that we are always his, I am always his son. That's the greatest thing I can be in all of eternity is to be a son of God. And that's for you as well. And just to share this really quickly, the other day my pants had a hole in them. And my mom was like, my mom said to me, she said, oh, just give him to me, and I'll sew your Happy Mother's Day, Mom. She's probably watching online. Love you, Mom, wherever there's a camera. Mwah. Anyways, she said, let me sew your pocket. Let me sew, like, there was, the pocket had a hole in it. So she sewed my pants, and she like returned them back to me like that day. Like, she gave them back to me that day. And I went to go put on my pants, and she's gonna be embarrassed that I'm sharing this. I put on my pants, and I put my hand in my pocket, and there's four things of Double Bubble, you know, the gum. There's 4 things of Double Bubble, and there's a $20 bill. And it's in the pocket that she fixed, so I know it's intentional. I know it wasn't just like, oops. I know she wasn't wearing my pants and forgot to put that, you know. And like, I texted her, and I said, you know, I said, Mom, like, thanks so much for, you know, for that. And she just was like, you know, love you. And, you know, I like it was that was a beautiful moment, you know, from my mom. But in that moment, instantly, I was also like, oh, this is your heart for me too. Like, this is your nurturing heart for me. Like, you just want to, like, you know, just in God loving me in that way as well. And he wants to love us in that way too, doesn't he? And we never want to grow up to the point where we forget what it is to actually be childlike and forget to be a son or a daughter, you know, to him. And I remember this. I remember one time, just to end off with this, I remember Christine. Christine's like resident mom, isn't she? She's one of these, you know, just resident moms in the house. And I remember one time she was just loving, you were loving on me one time. You were just sharing something with me. And I think I was just so busy. And I remember you said, I'll never forget this. She said to me, would you just let me be a mom right now? You know, little Christine, she said, would you just let me be a mom right now? Like, would you just let me love on you for a sec? And I was like, yeah. You know, like, we can forget what it is to receive in that way, and forget what it is to we can become so serious that we forget what it is to be a son or be a daughter. And so, we're going to end here and we're going to eat some cake, but I just wanted to share and just to say, wherever you're at in your journey, we'd love to pray for you and just to love on you. And so if you're, if there's something that hit your heart today and you're like, you know what, I need some prayer. I'd love some prayer. Just want to invite you to respond. We're going to have some prayer team members here at the front, and we'd love to pray for you. So come get some prayer. And if not, we just love you, bless you. Happy Mother's Day. Yes. And we'll just pray. Yeah. God, we just thank you for today. We love you so much. God, I just ask just for every one of us, Lord, would you remind us what it is to be a son, to be a daughter, and to be able to receive love from you in that way, Lord. And I thank you that, yes, you mature us, and yes, we grow, and we mature, and we learn more, and we grow in you, Lord, and in the ways of the Lord. But God, we want to remain in a place of being childlike, and to trust you, to take you at your word, to be able to laugh and to have joy and to experience your peace and your freedom. And so, Lord, whatever you're doing today, Lord, I just ask, would you just love on your people? We thank you for our moms. We thank you for just the moms and the women and the grandmas and the great grandmas that you've put in our lives, Lord, and the women in our community. And God, we just thank you. We thank you for your goodness, Lord. And if there's anyone who's hurting this morning, God, I just pray, would you go to that area of our hearts and to bring your healing, to bring your touch, Lord, to bring your forgiveness, Lord, whatever it may be. I thank you that you meet us in that place, and I thank you that you care about the details. That even though you're big and you're above above the universe, but I thank you that you're also here, and that you're in the details, that you meet us where we're at. So we thank you, Lord. We thank you for your goodness. And we just love you and bless your name today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Okay, God bless you guys. We'll see you.
We also have a wall right beside the nursery. There's a big piece of paper. I think it says something like mums are, or something about mums. Please, would you write something on it? We would love to get a photo of it. It would be so fun, just a fun way for us all to just take a minute and write something that we think about mums. So it's right beside the nursery wall. There's a tub of pens there. Take a minute before you leave and write a little something on it so we can snap a photo.